Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Solar. So today we're going to be building a junction box for our solar panel wiring, specifically so that we can add on some surge protection or lightning protection. And so it protects the solar panels, but it also protects the charge controller. So to build this junction box, I'm going to be reusing this one. This is a Type 1 enclosure, basically a Type 1 enclosure. It's kind of the minimum electrical enclosure. It's made for indoor use. In no way is it waterproof. And this one just has a cover that just screws onto the front. There's no hinges. So basically this is one of the cheaper enclosures that you can purchase. But this enclosure, I was able to add this perforated back plate. Now a lot of times you get a back plate in these junction boxes or enclosures, and they're solid, and then you have to drill and tap anywhere you want to mount anything. If you end up with one of these perforated panels, you can basically sink a sheet metal screw in any one of those holes. It's already pre-drilled for you. It makes the installation quicker and easier. So to connect the surge protection, it has to wire into the solar panel wiring in parallel to the positive and the negative wire. So to do that, we're just going to be using some terminal blocks mounted to a DIN rail. And we're going to put this inside of the enclosure, and that's going to allow us to make all our terminations. So the terminal blocks I am using, I got these off of Amazon. These are a Dinkle, and the size is a DK6, and that determines kind of the width of the terminal block, which is how big of a wire it can accept. And the Dinkle, I've tried a few different ones. The Dinkle ones seem to be the better ones off of Amazon, but they snap to this DIN rail right here. And to get them off, you just grab this little spot on the side and then pull out with a screwdriver, and these will pop right off of the rail. And you can arrange these any way you want. I bought red and black for positive and negative to help identify. But one thing I want to point out is you have one side of the terminal block, it is insulated. Now the other side of the terminal block is bare. So the intention is for these to go in the same direction. That way the bare side goes up against the insulated side. And then on your very last terminal block, you'll have some type of a cover, and that is made to snap over the end and cover up the bare metal. And then after that, everything's pretty well finger safe. And the terminal blocks mount to this DIN rail. There is a couple different styles. Now this style, I've always heard it referred to as top hat, because I guess when we turn it over, kind of looks like a top hat. Now this is a bi-directional DIN rail. So I can snap this terminal block on it in both directions. So I could take it and I could just hook it on the edge and snap it over, and it snaps onto the DIN rail. But since it's bi-directional, I can actually put the next one on backwards, and I can take it and click it on that way. Now, both of the bare sides are facing each other. So if you put these on backwards, they're going to come up and touch each other, and now you've probably created a short that you didn't want to make. So it's just something to keep in mind when you put these terminal blocks on this style of DIN rail. You always want to look down the side and make sure that they're all turned exactly the same direction, because that really causes like more of an intermittent issue. It might short for a little while and then stop shorting, and it can be a real pain in the butt to figure out that you got a terminal block on backwards. Just something to look out for when you're messing with these. Now these terminal blocks do come in different sizes, so here's 3 different sizes. This is a DK10. I believe this can take up to 6 gauge wire. This is a DK6 in the middle. That is what we're using. I think it can take up to an 8 gauge wire. And then this one I believe is a DK4. And then I think it goes like maximum of around a 12 gauge wire or 10 gauge wire on that one. Now all 3 of these terminal blocks, they also have a different amp rating. And the one we're using, the DK6, it has a 50 amp rating, which is plenty big enough for our solar panels. So this is how I want to arrange the terminal blocks: red for positive, black for negative. So I've got 2 reds and 2 blacks for the first solar panel array. And then the next set is for array number 2, and then so on. We have a total of space here for 7 arrays. So now inside of this junction box, I'm going to mount this DIN rail, and I'm just going to mount it the full length because we're going to need it. So now I'm just going to take some really short sheet metal screws, and we'll tighten this down. So the first thing to put on the DIN rail is what they call a stop. It's got a couple screws here that tighten down where it clamps onto the DIN rail, and that locks this in place, keeps the terminal blocks from sliding back and forth. So I'm gonna put this up here at the very top, get it snapped on, tighten the screws. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and start snapping my terminal blocks on. And the last terminal block has the little cover mounted on the end, so it's insulated on both sides. And then the last thing to put on is another one of these stop blocks at the bottom. All right, we got our terminal blocks mounted in the enclosure, and we've got connections for positive and negative from the solar panels, but the surge protectors also need a good ground. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna be mounting just a simple ground bar like you'd have an electrical panel. You can buy these at the home improvement store. They come with a specific screw that you're supposed to use, and the instructions will tell you the exact drill bit size to pre-drill this. And then when you mount this, the screw will bite in and it will bond this ground bar to the enclosure, which the enclosure has a ground point on the inside as well. It'll bond the enclosure, the ground bar all together. So just follow the manufacturer's instructions for whatever ground bar, but we're just gonna drill this out and mount it in here. Turn this around. So I'm gonna put my lightning protection on this side of the junction box. So I'm gonna mount it on this same side. And then you just drive the screw in. You don't tap it, you let the screw self-tap itself, make its own threads. There we go. Ground bar's in. So the next thing I want to do is each set of these positive terminals, we want to bond them together, and then each set of the negative terminals we want to bond together. And to do that, we have this. This is like a little jumper, and it jumps between two terminal blocks and bonds them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one right here, and then you got to push it down in there. And now these two are electrically the same. And I'm going to do the same thing with the jumper here on these two black terminals. Get that pressed in there, and then those two are electrically the same. And then so on. We're just going to jumper two terminals together, or each color together, all the way down. All right, we got our junction box all made out, got our terminal blocks, got our ground, and the next thing is going to be the surge protection. So when you go and buy surge protections, a lot of times you need to know what the highest voltage is of your solar array. And that would be your open circuit voltage for the array. Plus you need to figure out your cold weather calculation. And because voltage actually goes up in colder weather. Your solar panels are rated around 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So anything colder than that, voltage starts increasing. So once you know what the highest possible voltage is from your array, then you can buy a surge arrestor that is within that voltage range. Now the reason that's important is a lot of surge arrestors, anything over their range, like say you have a surge arrestor rated up to 600 volts, anything above 600 volts, it sees as a possible dangerous voltage. It's going to start to shunt that voltage. So you want to make sure that if you select wrong, it can just start shunting the voltage, your normal operating voltage. You don't want it to try to protect against its normal operation. So you just want to make sure you size that right. Now I know of two brands of surge protection for solar panels that are fairly popular that a lot of people use. The first one is going to be the Midnight Solar surge protector. I'll put a picture of it up here, and it's probably going to be more of your it's probably going to be a little bit more budget friendly out of the two. People have used these for years. I think they're fairly proven. Now the next brand, the one that I'm using, this is from EMP Shield, and these are a little bit pricey, but they're known for surge protection for breaker panels, for vehicles, all different sorts of things, and they claim to be able to protect against lightning, but also like EMPs, coronal mass injection, solar flares, all those apocalyptic events. But the one thing that really drew me to them is that they claim to have a 100% guarantee against lightning, and which is your more likely event. And that's the reason why I ended up going with EMP shield. Now this one right here, this one is rated at 600 volts max. I think the next size down is like a 300 or 320 volt array, so there are different sizes for the voltage on your array. You can buy these in single or dual, and that's what this one is. This is a dual. It protects 2 solar arrays in 1 unit, and I've got 2 of these. So I've got enough lightning protection to protect 4 solar arrays inside of this junction box. I do have 5 solar arrays, so I do need to probably get some additional lightning protection, but we're gonna have this all wired out so that I can add that on later. So I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to the Midnight Solar and the EMP Shields lightning protection down in the description. I believe both of these brands wire up completely the same, so the installation process should be identical for both brands. So the EMP shield, it is all weatherproof. It's been poured and sealed on the inside. One thing I don't like about it is the wires just come out. There's no way to like connect it to a box or to conduit. So what I need to do is I've made myself up a little short piece of PVC conduit, and we'll slide that over the wire. And basically we need to glue this into this PVC little junction box here and give it a little, conduit adapter on there. And now that that's installed, we can go ahead and mount this to our enclosure that we just made. So this enclosure, it's gonna mount to the wall. So we're gonna pretend that this is the wall. And then the EMP shield, I would prefer this mount to the wall too, and also punch a hole in the box, but you can see it's gonna be right here on that bottom edge, too close to the edge. This really needs to be elevated and then punched through the side. So to elevate that, I think I'm just gonna take a small piece of like 3/4 inch plywood. I think that'll be enough, and now we are spaced up enough where it should be able to punch a hole in here and mount it. All right, I just got my carbide hole saw made for 3/4 inch conduit. You can actually get this one at Harbor Freight, fairly cheap. The good thing about them is they have this shoulder on here, and it keeps you from going like really deep into the box. All right, we got them mounted on there. And we still got room for at least one more on the side. Now when you look at the wires out of the EMP shield, you've got a couple reds, a couple blacks, and then you've got a green. Well, the green, that's our ground. We're gonna run that down to that bus bar, the ground bar. And then the 2 blacks and 2 reds, you may think they're the same, but they're not. There's one set here that is striped. So you have a striped red and a striped black. That is for solar array number 2, and then this one is for solar array number 1. So what I'm gonna do is I'm basically gonna land the red and black wire on the red and black for the solar array, and then I'll take the next stripe set and I will land that on the next terminal block down, the next red and black for the next array, and then so on as we go down the strip. All right, we got our enclosure all wired up. So you can see we've got our surge protection wired to each set of terminal blocks. Our solar panel array, it's gonna come in and land and go out. It's gonna pass through here, and this is allowing our surge protection to hook onto that in parallel and protect it. So we're here in the solar power room, and right here in this corner, these metallic conduits, I think the majority of them are the wiring from the solar arrays on the roof. So what I want to do is I want to take our new junction box. We're going to mount it basically right there, and then we'll bring our wiring out of those conduits down to this terminal block, land it, and then we'll come back out off the other side of the terminal blocks up to the inverter. So to connect our new enclosure to this wireway, we are going to punch a couple of conduit holes in both of these and connect them together. We're just going to use one of these little conduit adapters. Some people may call this like a chase nipple box adapter, but this is what we're going to use. We're going to use 2 of them. So we're going to put one on the incoming side. Wire is going to come in, land on the terminal blocks, and then there's going to be another one on the other side for the wires to exit out to the inverter. Having the two conduit chases is going to allow us to keep our wiring separate, and it'll make everything just look nicer in the enclosure when we're done. All right, I've got the right-hand side all wired up. This side is complete. So these are all 5 solar arrays, and they're landing on the terminal blocks. Now the last array, this is the one that doesn't have any surge protection. So it lands here, and then we have wires that come out and go out to one of my inverters. Now these other 4 sets of wires, these are gonna go to the 12,000 XP in this room. Of course, we've already got the lightning protection, so we just need to run 4 pairs of wires out the left-hand side to the inverter. All right, got the wiring all complete now. So solar panel wiring comes in on the top terminal block, goes out on the same terminal block to the inverter, and then this second terminal block, this is the one that ties it in to the surge protection. It's all done. The only other thing I did is I did run a ground wire to that ground bar, and then it goes up and it ties into the ground bar inside of this trough right there. So everything's properly grounded. Got to have a good ground for these to work, so now we're protected. All right, we can turn on our PV disconnects, and the rapid shutdown in here should come back on. The panels should come on. And as we come down here, we got lights. And these lights will light up, I think, only when the sun is out. But when you see these lights on, you know that it's working. So I did have one of these EMP shields go bad, or at least the LED wouldn't light up anymore. I believe it was like on array number 2. And I got a hold of them. They had me take a picture of the module. They had me take a picture of how it was wired up. They just wanted to verify the installation. Everything was fine on the installation, so they sent me a shipping label, and I shipped this back to them, and once they received it, they shipped me a brand new one. So really no hassle. It was probably 2 or 3 emails back and forth, and then I just had to wait for it to ship back and forth. But I'm pretty happy with the customer service from EMP Shield. Now keep in mind, I'm just sharing with you guys how I'm adding some lightning protection to my system. Not saying this is the way you got to do it. I'm just trying to share with you guys so that to help maybe give you an idea or help get your wheels turning on how you might be able to integrate surge protection into your system. Now, as far as my system is concerned, I'm still not done on this system. I've got 2 wall mount batteries here, and in the wintertime, we get dark about 5 o'clock, and we got a long night, right? There's less sun, longer nighttime. These batteries are not lasting, so I've got two more wall mount batteries I want to try to mount in here. I've got space on this wall. That's probably going to be the next video in this series. But I think that's going to be it for today, guys. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.